Ahem. Hello, everybody. It is I, Yi-sung, and new intervalo. Mnestic experience, I think it was called. Now, I haven't gotten any spoilers for this intervalo, considering it came out today, and I just updated my Limbus, and I just got home from school. So, alright. Oops. They've also graced us with new ID, new ego. But I'm not really concerned about that. I'm just gonna shop them soon. So, yeah. Event exchange. No, I'm not ready for that yet. Reward exchange. Yep. Ooh. S-Corp Chunuk-kun Honglu. Yeah, let's check this guy. Alright, skill 1 rolling a 9, already off strong. 16, good. And another 16. Okay, just average 3-star levels, nothing special. New status effect. That's it for what I can see. Yeah, same old. Alright. Cool. So now to the stages. 9.515, consultation session. Let's do this. No, wait, for this one, we should go about it like... Oh wait, let me turn auto on. Oopsie. No, he's been in the Vanguard for too long. I should pull him back and let him... Huh? Oh, sorry. Did you say something? What? Is there no voice lines for this one too? I'm gonna be mad. I'm about to be mad. Come on. No, things aren't that bad, but at least we have Dante voice lines. It's just hard to focus on one conversation when I'm trying to support battles happening in completely different places at once. On top of that, Rojia's shopping chatter is starting to get a little distracting. A few days after we entered N-Corp's district, the bus pulled over in the back streets of N-Corp to take care of a distortion case. This contract was supposed to be handled jointly with the LCD team, but distortions suddenly started cropping up all over an area of the back streets called Butter Street, without any coherent pattern, no obvious point of origin or route of spread, nothing convenient like that, and I had no choice but to split the sinners into several groups and send them out. Aldous, Ishmael, Sinclair, Don Quixote, Yi-sung, and Merceau were on their way to rendezvous with the LCD team. Heathcliff, Gregor, and Honglu were suppressing distortions that had showed up from other directions. And with our onboard stock scraped down to the bottom, Brodia and Ryoshu, who are done with their share of this suppression work, were put in charge of buying supplies for the bus. As for Faust, she decided to stay behind with me on the bus. I wanted to get through the consultation sessions I'd been putting off, and thought I might as well get myself some much-needed practice with handling the new golden bow power I'd acquired. There's no voice lines! Curse you, Limbus. I will get you back for this. Oh well. Doesn't matter. It's fine. To reiterate, there were no issues requiring special concern regarding Faust. It is true that Faust has, on several recent occasions, expressed dissatisfaction with a certain Faust. However, those instances should be classified as a mere personal grievance. I mean, that's good if that's all there is to it, but this was not the first time Faust had seemed unlike herself. There had been times before when she spent far longer alone than usual, lost in thought, moments when she could not produce immediate answers to questions from the other sinners or me. Could it be you can't access the Gesellschaft? May I ask your basis for that inference? 'Cause you're acting a lot like you did back on the warp train. It appears there remains occasions on which you are still capable of surprising Faust, Dante. So I was right? You really are cut off from the Gesellschaft? That was not intended as a confirmation of your conjecture. Maybe she's saying that while she can technically access the Gesellschaft, it may as well be that she can't. I wish I could ask more and get to the bottom of it, but the way she was sidestepping the subject told me that prying wouldn't give me any further insight. Right, I won't press you if you don't want to talk about it. Your reserve is appreciated. Shall we move on? Yes, your consultation is the next agenda. After cross-referencing the records pertaining to the recent events in the House of Spiders, it would appear that memories concerning the individuals designated as Sora and Ren currently remain only with you, Dante. As such, should the influence of Ryoshu and her sword lead to further omissions in the official records, the manager will be responsible for supplementing the necessary information. Yeah, not the first time I was the only one left with intact memories, huh? That's right. Despite Keiko's memory wipe procedure, Catherine's erasure by the Golden Bow's power, and Arayashiki severing people from existence, I was the only one who remembered what had transpired. But ironically enough, the memories I had prior to swapping my head with this clock still showed no sign of returning. Why would my old memories come back, though? Is it because of this clockhead? Speculation based on your experience with the bus team thus far will not meaningfully contribute to the recovery of your former memories, manager. Inductive reasoning conducted from memories with gaps, after all, is bound to have structural limitations. Bongi would serve as an adequate analogy. Bongi? Yes, Bongi. Receiving feed and increase— oh god, I gotta do a yap. You know, I'm gonna let her finish. Yep. Take your time, Faust. Alright, she's done. Yes, Bongi. Receiving feed and increasing in body mass alone, provided with no meaningful basis for identifying the purpose of its rearing. Even at the terminal stage, when exposed to kitchen instruments and the heat of a stove, its limited experience will prove inadequate to constitute an understanding of its ultimate fate and purpose. Likewise, the ultimate answer to your doubts can only be obtained from the whole of the experience that you will have accumulated at the terminus of your entire journey. That is, your allotted mission. Because treasure awaits at the end of the road, at the end of hell. And that treasure will give me back my memories and my head. Also, indeed, at the end of the road, he will be able to engrave your aspect. I still have no idea exactly what aspect means, or even whether it's an object, but if I know one thing, it's that the me from before all of this began wanted it badly, obsessively, desperately. It's more like an instinctive knowledge, but my memory's gone. That feeling, however strong it is, does not change the fact that it's just another word with no discernible mental image. And you're not gonna tell me what it actually is, are you? The aspect? What it means? Or why I wanted it so much? If it remains a piece of information that must be disclosed to you, then no. I am unable to tell you. Pay it no mind. You are still following your star acceptably. Please concentrate on the journey. More importantly, have you grown accustomed to that incomplete power? Current observations suggest you have yet to arrive at that level. Well, I've gotten pretty used to focusing on one place at a time, but keeping track of several places at once is still a bit rough. Otis's team is doing well in combat even without my direct supervision, and Rhodia's team is shopping and not engaged in battle at the moment. Taking my mind off them would prove much easier, but that wouldn't give me the much needed practice, so I'm doing my best to keep an eye on every sinner's status. Sufficient familiarity should... Jane Yapatron is genuinely making me tweak out, holy. Sufficient... Don't you say it? Sufficient familiarity should result in a substantial tactical value. You would be able to cast a wider net when information gathering and employ previously unavailable tactical patterns. Right, and I'd also be able to tell when it's a bad time to call someone in, too. Even as I continue talking with Faust, I make sure not to stop observing the places where each group is and what they're doing. Yep, pulling Heathcliff to the rear was the right call. I don't see any injuries. His team's still doing pretty well, even without my directions. As for Rhodia... Wait, did she just stuff all of the pastries and bread she bought into her pockets? How did she manage that with a huge baguette? And Otis's group, let's see. Looks like they joined with the LCD team without any issues. LCD, then that guy over there must be... hang on. Faust, there's a dude I've seen before, but he seems a bit, different from what I remember. Could you specify the issue? I'm Yeah! Ow! Ow! I'm gonna crash out. I'm monitoring... How do you people say this? It's like... I'm not Eminem, I can't do this. I'm monitoring the situation right now. We should probably join up with them too. Let's end the consultation here. This is rather precipitous. What is that? Precipitous? I don't know, man. Dante, if the incident is of a serious nature, perhaps a request for support from the LCC... No, it's not an incident. Though I wouldn't say it's not serious. So... more reading. Yeah, speaking out loud is a lot harder than just reading in your head. Especially speaking with this accent, man. I can't do that. This is going from bad to worse, really. Dante seems to be tied up helping the other groups. Otis's command calls have been working out well enough, I'll give her that. We've managed to hold the line better than expected, but we're definitely starting to feel the strain. Gasp. Why are you waving your hand all over... arm and hand signals? Huh? What signals? What's swinging the arm sideways even supposed to mean? You don't know! It's scatter, damn it, so scatter! Crash. Yeah, I heard that. They got crash voice lines at least, you know. That was close. We almost got flattened. Damn it, even rookies with nothing but the most rudimentary of military training would have recognized a hand signal that basic. Well, we're not all trained soldiers here, are we? Verily, the flourish of a single hand doth indeed make boast of a chivalric elegance. Yet when thou suddenly wavest thine arm about, clenching and unclenching thy hand in that mystical fashion, only to suddenly turn tail, forsooth, I am left bereft of understanding what thou meanest to say. Do you think that all the personnel in the team, only the swabby, has the discipline to interpret a basic field signal? I only picked it up during my sailing days, and realistically speaking, did you really expect ordinary people like the others to understand professional military signals? This is unacceptable. After all the operations all of you have been deployed under my lead, you're all still ignorant when it comes to nonverbal signals. I don't think even Dante would know what those signals... Yep, might as well be splitting hairs, literally. Let us appease our agitated hearts and follow Miss Otis's instruction. We should disperse and withdraw. Maggots on Atlantis! Right? Hi, Ezra. Uh-huh. Hey, pretty cool, huh? Let's face it, I know how to make one heck of an entrance. Whoa, aren't you supposed to be cleaning up the distortions upstairs? Oh, finito a million years ago. You guys were taking forever, so I figured I'd take a peek and lend a hand. You're welcome. Split by your thundering descent, the floor's form and shape are now crushed beyond mending, sunken deep enough to be likened to the incipience of a wellspring. Don't you worry your head about it. That's all after teams to take care of. Anyway, that should be all of them, right? The force of your landing neutralized the last of the distortions outside of the building. Great. Can you check on the distorted peeps' faces and clothes? Their faces are all segmented. Makes my skin crawl. Not a pleasant sight. As for their attire... this one appeareth to be a sweeper! And that one yonder bears the attire of an ordinary fixer! Yeah, I'm gonna keep doing that for Dawn, that's funny. This is full of whimsy and it's Node 2. And this distortion I landed on, probably a local resident judging by the clothes. Did any of you happen to see anything nearby bursting with a big pop and flash? Nay, not once. Okie dokie, you know what? Then let's all head upstairs. This suppression request is kind of a pain. We'll need to put that together a nice, neat plan before we start poking it too hard. A plan, sayest thou? How is this not a mere matter of slaying distortions where they stand? Huh? Wait, did nobody brief you? This has oft been the structure of our assignments. We are given instructions, we perform them, and only afterward do we begin to perceive the nature and contour of the task to which we have committed our hands. Really? Well, guess every department has its own way of doing things. No big deal. I'll explain everything once we're upstairs. Oh, by the way, you didn't get to meet the whole team last time, did you? Only our new girl. This time, that dude, Mr. Bamboo-Headed Kim's also here, so... Huh? He's okay now? Sure he is. I'll be surprised once you see just how okay he is now. But last time you said he was still under treatment. To be precise, I believe Miss Ongtu stated that his mind is yet to regain its former tranquility. That? Huh? Shrug sound effect. He'll get it once you see him. I feel like we'll just end up having the same conversation twice if I say anything about it now. Creak sound effect. Creak voice lines. W's. You have arrived. It's blinding. It's so bright. The midday sun is pouring in like crazy. Yet the warm tickle of the sunbeam is rather agreeable. What's up with Yi-sang and just moaning at the beginning of his sentences? This is it's getting difficult for me to do, man. No, this is not sunlight. Because unlike this, there is more to the sunshine than its warmth. Then what exactly is this light? Why is this thing on again? It's bright enough to fry my eyeballs. Apologies, Lady Ezra. I am yet to be accustomed to this machine. This is my first time laying a hand upon the complicated workings of such a contraption. Was my goat always there? Excuse me. It activated of its own accord, and I have yet to discover the method by which it may be silenced. That's why I told you to leave it alone. Fiddling with things you don't understand usually ends with something, or you, broken. Nothing good comes of it, I tell you. But, Mentor, Lady Moses has instructed me that in every move in an event, clues are hidden under the veil of one's surroundings and must be examined with care. Oh, that was Bamboo-Headed Kim talking. Never mind, I'll do better. Yes, and that only works if you're savvy about the knack. Hang on, did you just say Mentor? I had not yet been afforded a proper opportunity to introduce him to you. This here is the esteemed leader of the Blade lineage, who is all but a master under whom I have apprenticed. Do you really have to dress it up like that? I told you I only took on the role because there wasn't anyone else around to take the job. Switch, where's the switch? Aha, gotcha. Son. Is my boy good? And Ongdu fixed her hair. Is this even the same person? And of course my goat. Shrug. Goodness. Known as Bamboo-Headed Kim. Oh, never mind. Yes, that's me. Guess I should say pleased to meet you, folks. What? Is this a joke? Are we serious right now? Oh my god, more reading. Oh, I'm gonna crash out. Man, So much reading. Okay, so... More often than not, first impressions are prone to change. The bamboo-headed Kim I remember was a man who drowned in his own fathoms, blaming himself for his powerlessness with a listed head with a... blaming himself for his powerlessness with a listless, heavy voice. That, however, had been while he was distorted and sunken into himself, so I figured his original personality might be somewhat different. But this is not just somewhat. His personality isn't even in the same ballpark as my expectations. You're telling me this guy here is bamboo-headed Kim? Yep, we double-checked with Ezra, and she said he really is the same guy. Whoa, that fire on your head's not hot at all? Fascinating stuff. Can you... Okay, can we check again, just in case? I really can't wrap my head around the fact that this is the sullen, serious man who we fought! Just look at what he's doing! He's rubbing my face all over like he's checking out some kind of a mantelpiece ornament! Lots of ticking and talking going on. Not supposed to sound like them talking to you folks, huh? Further confirmation would be redundant, Dante. This individual is conclusively identical to the one designated as bamboo-headed Kim. I've got no idea what you folks are suspicious about. Oh, dude, just what exactly have you been telling people out there about me? They're all staring like they've seen a ghost. I told them you were a gallant and formidable warrior, Mentor. But they don't look like they've heard the most flattering things about me. There, don't you hear it? The faint undercurrent of disappointment in the ticking? Sighs and ticks. I also told them that you were a man of few words, but with much affection for the followers under your command. Ogdu. Yes, Mentor? That's a complete and utter lie. Man of few words is definitely not something you could say about a guy who's as talkative as me, don't you think? Yet I spoke no falsehood. Although your conduct is rather shallow and perhaps less refined for a leader of an organization, you are much more reserved and taciturn when conversing with those unfamiliar to you, are you not? No oh my god! You're doing a lot of talking here. No matter who one may be, one is bound to inspire either approval or disapproval from those around him, so I refrain from mentioning any truths that might invite the latter. To even hint at anything that might tarnish the reputation of my master would not be unlike spitting on his own. I screwed up in the last, like, 5 words, man. To even hint at anything that might tarnish the reputation of my master would not be unlike spitting on his name, and mine by extension. I simply had no reason to put on airs in front of my own folks. In any case, so you can't see anything if I block this part. Do tell, how many fingers am I holding up? Those are not my eyes, you know. Your own folks, huh? Then you've already acknowledged and accepted that you now belong to Limbus Company. Why didst thou not pay a visit to the LCE? Verily, when one's mind is plagued by the absence of tranquillity, venturing forth into the open air, touchable field of glass clear of... I said glass, holy! Venturing forth into the open air, untouchable field of grass cleareth the storm of the heart! An asset of the company is expected to act in the company's interest. Yet, for whatever reason, I didn't see you fighting on the field of battle during Operation Spider-Pyre. What everyone else was saying, bamboo frauded Kim. You will have to account for your absence in the mission. Otis addressed Kim as though she were conducting a formal investigation, every word flat and hard. It was obvious she was not about to let her guard down anytime soon. What mission? Oh, that one. Kim finally seemed inclined to assume a more serious disposition. He stopped peering into my face and turned toward Otis, although his hand was still on my head. Alright, clearly there's some disconnect in expectations here. Listen here, you. I'm really not all that about hard, bothersome work, get what I mean? The real disconnect was between his stoic expression and the words coming out of his mouth. What? So let's talk about the kind of fellow I am. Ain't the resident layabout who's forced to do his job, with a frown too, I might add. Only when he's got absolutely no other choice. I'm really not some big shot unk who's apparently been promoting me as, folks. And I'd very much like to stop getting roped into stuff that keeps putting my life on the line. Fine, then why did you join the LCD in the first place if you'd rather be unemployed? No, never mind. They probably force you to stay. You catch on quick. First they spout this nonsense about distortions and all, and then force hired me, calling me a company-owned resource or whatever. And the other day, they were again on about, what's his name? Golden Bow? Yes, they invited me on a tour to another department to listen in on some important presentation. And I accepted. I thought it would be a fine opportunity to broaden my perspective. Oh dear. There are times when your commitment to duty shines brighter than the sun. I find that attitude so dazzling that I have to squint when I'm looking at you. Who knows? Maybe that's why I'm wearing this bamboo hat, to shade my eyes from your utter brilliance. Do you mean to say that you are in need of a shield to protect your eyes? Lady Ezra, might I submit a request for a pair of sunglasses for my mentor? Only if it's not too much of an imposition of the budget, that is. Look at his face. That right there. That's what I keep telling you not to do. You can't just say yes to every silly thing he says and turn it into a supply request. Small expenses add up to a lot, you know. You gotta save up everything you can in the piggy bank we still can, or you'll end up broke. Is there truly no room for reconsideration? No means no. Then pray make the purchase for me. I shall cover the cost myself. No can't— wait, what? My poor mentor is in a state of great discomfort, yet I possess neither the wisdom nor the knowledge to navigate the silver tongue of merchants and the maze of stalls to locate the very best item, so I must beg this favor of you. You're giving me a frickin' headache, girl. I am aware that you and yours are no strangers to such dealings. There is no one else I can trust to complete such a procurement with the swiftness of the wind. You know what? Never mind what I said. I'll just get you what you want. You are the gentle lady, mentor. Your suffering shall soon be alleviated. Right. My apologies for interrupting you in mid-conversation. Pray continue. You had reached the part where they invited you to a tour another I'm so done. No sooner Angdu's words left her lips than her eyes glinted with something I couldn't really put my finger on. There was a strange intensity that sent a chill down my spine. Yeah, so that day I was just gonna relax here and watch some TV. Well, good on you for showing up to work today, I guess. Let's say there's a debt to be repaid. At least you understand that we are indeed indebted to the company. Yeah, I suppose I do. Kim's gaze lingered on Angdu's prosthetic arms as he answered. Oh, Miss Angdu, your arms. Only after following Kim's gaze did Sinclair seem to notice Angdu's brand new prosthetic arms. The last time he saw her, Angdu had lost both of her arms. And I remember Ezra asking her to sit tight and choose what type of prostheses she wanted. Those arms are probably it. It's not just the arms. Even our clothes are different now. And that sword. I had these arms fitted anew as soon as the operation was concluded. The gracious host in one of the LCD's teams had prepared them in advance. With evident satisfaction, Angdu held up her dark metallic wrists as if to showcase them. Her components fixed along her arm clicked and rattled, unfolding for a moment before neatly folding back into place. Oh, such graceful smoothness! Ready to machine articulation! 'Tis as though I am beholding the marvellous prostheses of the illustrious Siegfried himself! Yep, the showcase would have gone lackluster without that trademark reaction. Those are strikingly similar to sports to... Right. Don't say Schwartz. Don't say Schwartz. Those are strikingly similar to Schwartz Industries' N7 lineup, but I thought that model was discontinued. Nah, not theirs. It's one of the prototypes developed by the LCD's Phenomena Deciphering team, and they put them on for trial. Now you'll find another like them. They're based on technology sprung from distortions. I see. For a brief moment, Sinclair's eyes lit up as if he had glimpsed something that brought him back to a memory. Then just as quickly, he fell silent, whatever he'd wanted to say to catching him in it. Does something trouble you, Master Sinclair? It wasn't hard to understand what struck the tender memory for Sinclair, and why it cast a shadow over his face. But... sorry, just reminded me of something from a long time ago. My dad used to work with prosthetics before he passed away. I thought this was the exact same model I saw back then. It appears I lack tact. These arms have stirred a painful memory within you. For that, I apologize. It's alright, I'm fine now. Sinclair's voice still carried a faint tremor, but beneath it there was a firmness that had not been there before. He really had grown a great deal. You can thank yours truly for picking the sword. I was there with her. I did inform Lady Ezra that any blade that could serve as a weapon would suffice, but she insisted on browsing the goods. I dare say I was given the opportunity to lay my eyes on every type of sword I could ever hope to see in this life, walking through the workshop street that day. Oh please, could we walk for just 4 hours? That's nothing. Whistles. While everyone was distracted taking in Ogdu's new outfit and equipment, Kemet quietly slipped away from the crowd and crouched down in the corner. He was rummaging through things scattered on the floor, picking them up. Is he pocketing them? Anyway, what is this place supposed to be? What are all these things? What are all the... My brother in Christ! It's basically a wreck now, but there are strobes in that cloth backdrop over there. Maybe it used to be a photo studio? Oh, that could explain why there are so many photos stuck around the place. Probably? This thing definitely looks like a camera, at least. Sinclair picked up a small cylindrical object and turned it over in his hands, studying it with curiosity. What do you suppose this is? A battery, maybe? Ah, there's some kind of strip inside. Let me just pull it out. No, that's... Otis started to stop pointing at Sinclair as if she had realized something, but Marceau's hand shot out before she could even finish, clasping over Sinclair's wrist before the strip could be pulled out. What did I do? Exposure to sunlight damages these objects. I already pulled a little bit out, though. It can be rewound. Carefully rotate the ridge section on the cylinder. I am currently blocking the sunlight from reaching the exposed section. Damage is of no concern. Oh, okay. You mean this one, right? This is the part that rotates? Yep, it went back in. With a quiet nod, Marceau took the object from Sinclair's hand. It seems to be a film roll. There is something written on the outside. Experiment number 4? It appears to be a compact reel for a film camera. You seem to have handled one before. Yes. Marceau's answer came without any further explanation, but the way he adjusted the camera on the table certainly didn't look like that of a first-timer. I once received a report containing photographs taken on film cameras during the war. Film rolls used to be by N-Corp are particularly difficult to falsify. They were often used to collect intelligence during secret operations. The film fixes light directly onto the medium, from what I've heard. A peculiar expression flashed across Ezra's face as she regarded Otis. Perhaps it was the mention of war that caught her attention. Anyway, we've managed to regroup in one piece. Let's come up with a plan to deal with these distortions, guys. Where should we begin? Then, in the next breath, she returned to her usual bubbly self and steered the conversation away from the subject. Both Ezra and I, we are both still trying to be free of the misconception we inflicted on ourselves. For all our unfailingly perky disposition, Ezra too may be carrying traumatic memories every bit as devastating as Gregor's. Does there yet remain aught deserving illumination? I just realized he is hella tall. Yi-Song is hella tall. Huh? Yeah, wait, you're right. Haven't we cleaned up the distortion already? I couldn't feel any more traces of distortions nearby, and it didn't seem like any of the other center teams elsewhere were actively engaged in battle at the moment either. Dante is asking whether distortion suppression has not, in fact, already been concluded. Oh, not yet. These people we fought just now, they only got caught up in the distortion. They didn't actually distort themselves. We haven't even gotten close to the distortion's inflection point yet. Inflection point? Anywho, finding an inflection point without the team leaders, Alright, breathe. That's what, your, 9th fumble? Finding an inflection point without the team leader around. Finding an inflection point without the team leader around is gonna take some time. Maybe it won't be too bad with your help. Ezra swept her eyes around the room with a look of frustration as though she had just been handed a puzzle box with half the pieces missing. By inflection point, are you referring to the point on a graph in which the directionality... I'm so done! On a graph in which the directionality of its curvature changes? Calling to mind the Prison? Hello? Calling to mind the present context, it may less be a mathematical term and more specialized. What the hell? What language are you speaking, Esau? Polytheme, referring to the point at which distortion occurs. The motive, intent, or indeed the point in which inflection of the mind occurs. I'm so done. Yep, that's about right. That's the kind of inflection point I was talking about. So in our department, we use that term to mean the source of a distortion, the inflector or cause behind it, stuff like that. You know, distortion's hard to treat if you don't know the core cause. Treat the symptoms you see on the surface all you like, but if you never find the root cause, the distortion is never getting solved. Though I guess you guys never really had to look for that kind of stuff, huh? Your boss clock opens a door into the fathoms or whatever, right? You mean Dungeon of the Fathoms. Yep, that's the one. From where we're standing, distortions are really high maintenance, time-consuming headaches. It's one thing to somehow manage to locate the inflection point, but curing it is another thing. But you guys can just march straight into someone's heart, knock the snot out of everything in there, and then ta-da! Patient ready for discharge. That's how it works, right? I'm not gonna lie, I was so jealous when I heard about it. I almost bit my sleeve off. Verily, I had thought your team would set about resolving distortions once the foe is vanquished, as we are wont to do. Was that not so? Of course not. Why would anyone come to us with a distortion suppression request if it were that simple in the first place? But yeah, most of the time, peeps try brute force approaches to it first, and when things go south, they send requests to the company or to our detective's office. That means the client this time must have been... Bingo. Apparently, the residents of Biter Street had all chipped into commission all kinds of agencies like the SVI and the Combat Specialized Fixer Forces. But none of them could actually do things right, and the job got passed on to us. Meaning, the distortion phenomenon related to this kind of photograph is still occurring unchecked somewhere on the streets. Exactly. That's why we gotta find something. Anything that might count as a clue. Ezra gazed down at the lying people on the floor with a I'm gonna crash out. With a complicated expression. Neat ash-gray suits and the logo on the collar of their uniform in the briefcases. Hey, isn't that N-Corp's logo? Come to think of it, wasn't Marceau? I was once employed by N-Corp. What? You used to work with those people? Yeah, he did mention that he used to work at N-Corp. Maybe he can offer us some insight. Do you know who these guys are, Marcel? Yes, manager. These are N-Corp Class 2 staff members. Given the Comra briefcases in their possession, they are likely members of the pinframe team of Service Desk Declue, I think. I literally learned French. If I butchered that, I'm never gonna recover. Marceau recited the information as though he were pulling it from a file he had already sorted and placed in the back of the shelf in his mind. Okay, pinframe team, huh? Anything you can tell us about them? Yes. It is one of N-Corp's many field departments related to information gathering and processing. Their primary duties include the handling of N-Corp's internal information analysis of N-Corp's internal intelligence, the sorting and arranging of N-Corp's internal information, and intersector. That'd be enough. Whoa, is he a talking encyclopedia or something? Yeah, another thing to be jealous of. You think it'll be okay if we borrow him sometimes? Might be an issue for us if he just went and borrowed our team's encyclopedia. Looks like everyone agrees that he's an encyclopedia. Oh, I can't speak! It's an encyclopedia! 6 syllables! Anyway, your encyclopedia is right. They're from N-Corp's pinframe team. Seen them a few times before in N-Corp's nest. But why would people already busy enough in dealing with nest affairs come all the way out to a shabby backstreet like this? Got any guesses? I am unable to determine that. The possible range of connection between the two pieces of information is exceedingly broad. Listing every relevant reason as to why they may have come here would require a considerable amount of time. Therefore, I will not present a determinative answer to that question. Huh? Ezra, staring holes into me with an unspoken, is this dude always like this? Wouldn't pull any answers from me, you know? Because aside from combat situations, I've still got no way to figure out what's going on in his head. Okay then, Marceau. Maybe this will be easier to answer from an objective point of view, and that was when I noticed something I'd never imagined would happen. Marceau's eyes widened, his gaze fixing me with such force that I could almost feel the faint tremor in it. A leveling stare that came with, there's no such thing as an objective point of view. Manager. A clipped tonal look almost bordering on rebuke. A given judgment may seem infinitely close to objectivity, but ultimately all things are subjective, without exception. I fell silent for a moment, lost in thought. Part of it was because Marcel's reaction had caught me off guard, but I also wondered whether his response might be connected to why he would always refuse to make judgments for himself. And if this has something to do with his turn, which I know is just around the corner, got it, then tell me 3 subjective reasons you think are most likely for why these people had come all the way into the back streets. I need to understand who he actually is as much as I can, because I'll never know when I'll get another chance to really get to know him if I brush this off with a simple, "Oh, I see, my bad," as usual. Yes, Manager. I would presume that the mission was one or all of the following: retrieval of video recording or recordings in a violation of NCORP's taboo, prompt elimination of the violator, contact with an informant in the backstreets, collaborating with NCORP's next, or identification and arrest of a wanted individual or individuals designated by the Nest. Taboo? You mean these people could be taboo hunters? Nah, no way. They don't send out taboo hunters for every single violation, you know. Like, wings usually leave minor taboo violations to be handled by subcontracted fixer officers or employees of the departments in charge. I'd say these guys here are NCORP staff. Miss Ongdu? What are you looking for in their pockets? I am looking through their belongings, for enlightening clues yet to be hidden in the sleeve or the fold of their garments. Lady Moses has been gifted with the art of discerning the truth from what lies before her with but a single glance, yet my eyes are foreign to such a feat. Let me take a look too. There's an employee card, and okay, those are wallets. Let's put that back. We don't want to be robbers. Aha! This might be it. It's an order missive. Ezra pulled a sheet of paper out from an NCORP staff coat and reads its contents aloud. Work details. Elimination of the individual with Category 3 taboo violation. Address, Butter Street. This is the place. Which means all of this might be pointing to something. Whoever used to work in the studio and the distortion phenomenon might be connected. Yeah, now that you mention it, when that whole pop and change thing happened, it did kind of feel like a camouflage. Alright, let's start by coming to this place. Let me know if you found anything suspicious. Oh, at long last! At the hour arrived for my debut as a detective! Forsooth! Don Quixote must have been miffed for not getting to play detective back in T-Corp. No idea where she'd been keeping them, but she immediately pulled out the detective props that had been given to Rotia, Ryosho, and Hong Lu back then. Verily, I had foreseen that the day would come. Fortunately, Otis wasted no time putting an end to Don Quixote's badly timed shenanigan. A sharp dressing down from her was enough to make our dejected chivalric adventurer stuff the costume away. Okay then, we should get moving too. 3 nodes in, 43 minutes into recording. Oh boy, I love this game. And all the gameplay that you do. 85?! Hold up. Huh? 85? Really? You get 85 from a single combat node? Yeah. Hong Lu, I'm coming for you. Ease. Wait, and this is just a battle, right? There's no story? Please say there's no story. Jesus Christ. I'll be damned if there's a story, man. My cat is yapping outside my door. No, it's a story. God damn it. We spent a long while rifling through the photo studio with the LCD team, but no one found any decisive evidence. There sure are a lot of photos around, but almost all of them are just pictures of buildings. Nothing much to tell from that. Aside from the canister containing the film roll Sinclair picked up, there are no remaining items here that can count as a proper clue, Executive Manager. I have confirmed that the rest are all empty plastic containers. Then it's probably best to check the contents of the film roll directly. Yes, Executive Manager. I will find a way to develop the film. Did you guys find any sort of photo development room or equipment nearby? Let's search a little more before we see what's in that film roll. Mentor, what do you make of this object? For the 8th time, Ogdo, I have no idea. If I had wits bright enough to understand all that lies before me with a single glance like that team leader, I would have passed the royal examinations long ago and secured myself a lucrative position as a court official. But Mentor, hadn't you already passed the royal once swung? A sword does not retrace its arc, Ogdo. So it is with life. There is no undoing what has already been cut. Thus it is unnecessary to dwell on what can no longer be undone. There is no after for what has been slashed away. Not for you, Mentor. Ought you do not dwell on what can no longer be undone. I misspoke. I did not mean it that way, Ogdo. I merely meant to say that I do not wish to recall my past. I am aware. You have told me as much since long ago, whenever you were placed in a position to retrace the past. Mostly at the eateries where you filled your belly on unpaid tabs, and each time you brought down the stone wall before our house by your own erring hand. Those are exactly the kinds of things you should never forget. Ow! My belly! I feel a stabbing pain in my belly! This spot! Oh, the very wound you once gave me afflicts me yet. The one from when you thought you were only poking me with a scabbard, yet by some cruel turn it was your sword that ran me through. Mentor, you said it was completely healed and that I need not concern myself with it. Those very same words have been repeated at least 80 times. I accidentally opened Copilot. But it still aches every now and then. Chiefly when I hear your sharp, cutting words that I really don't want to hear. Is that so? Ogdo suddenly pulled out a sheet of paper and began furiously writing something down. What's this? I have written down the words that I have just said. If hearing my sharp, cutting words afflicts you so, perhaps reading them instead would cause no suffering. Kim's face began to contort like a wet dish towel being run dry. I really can't believe this is the same mentor Ogdo follows so devotedly. Where's all that dignity and forbearance Ogdo said he had? Young Ogdo, there is a matter I would ask thee. Apparently I wasn't the only one who felt that way about him. Pray, speak freely. This may perhaps be a discourteous inquiry, but I too, when speaking to the others of those whom I serve, often ornament my words with a laudation of an acceptable degree, and yet, I understand your concern, Lady Don Quixote. I suppose it is your first time seeing Mentor with his shoulders so unbraced and his bearing so loose. In truth, when I first beheld him, I also wondered whether such a man could truly be a leader worth placing my faith in. However, upon my honor, I assure you that I've never once uttered a falsehood when I spoke of him to you. My respect towards the blades of my own and foes alike, my determination to safeguard what must be protected, even should my arms be torn apart, all of these are, undoubtedly, the teachings that my mentor has imparted unto me. Truly? Why, if fortune should grant the opportunity, you may witness Mentor's true self yourself someday. That is to say, if we let ourselves be carried by the currents of the river, to arrive at such a chance. Ogdo gave her a sitting on a casual sweep, smiling sincerely as though she truly believed every word she said. Then, leaning closer to Don Quixote, she whispered, Besides, unless I speak with this feigned stern ignorance, there will be no end to his digging in his heels. I would ask for your I would ask for your trust, for all is aimed at his benefit. Forsooth, thou too hast been burdened with the trials of serving your superior. So that's what it was. I get it now. Slam. Just as I witnessed the budding of this peculiar bond of commiseration and camaraderie between our chivalric friends, the door leading outside was flung open with a loud slam. We have arrived at the target location. It appears that the advance party has already been defeated. Wait, who are these people? Didn't they say there was only a single violator? Oh crap. Looks like it's too late to talk our way out of this, whatever excuses we come up with. Oh boy, this is not gonna go well. Same thing happened last time. When I saw the N-Corp employees, I thought we had the wrong intel. All of a sudden flash flooded my vision white, as though I had stared straight into a burst of searing light, so intense and bright that it made my head swim. Yeah, there was the same pop, and with my vision blinded, the only thing I could make out was Ezra's soft murmur, until even that came to a stop as her breathing hushed. Oh. It didn't take long for me to realize what was happening. Seeing it again doesn't exactly warm the heart, wouldn't you say, Ogdo? Though Escort may indeed be passing through hard times, this alley was not quite so wretched in form, was it, Mentor? Is that right? Looks like the same to me. Ugh, this place. Did we just get teleported to Escort? No, Dante. That generates a considerable sense of verisimilitude. I think I know what this is. This is a presence. I haven't been able to detect it until just now, but somehow it was now surrounding us, saturating every corner of the space where we stood. The dreary stone walls, trees bent and coiled in grotesque forms, the sheen of the light, and even the air we breathe, all of them pointed toward a single phenomenon. This is the depth of the fathoms. Fathoms made entirely out of distortion. They're completely different distortions where the in-corp employees were just a moment ago, Executive Manager. That's exactly it. This is what I was trying to explain. Oh. Okay. Where I was appointed, the people in smart, neat suits had vanished, and in their place, figures clad in blood-stained dope robes were approaching us with dragging, uneasy steps. Right, let's fight first and talk later. Ready, Angdu? My blade is poised to strike Lady Ezra. And wait, where's the bamboo-hatted dude? I'm afraid he has already taken his leave. He said he had no desire to cross blades with the Juncoons of Escort twice. Come on, man, not again. He's a repeat offender, that's for certain. Executive Manager. Wherever Kim's gone off to, this definitely isn't the time to be asking trivial questions. Right, let's do what Ezra says and get ready for battle. On your orders, Executive Manager. Men, prepare for battle! Finally, I get to do something other than read. Ugh. Right. Oh, yo! We have Ezra and Angdu. What's Angdu like? Okay, so just the average 3-star. As for the enemies, nothing that bad. Yeah, Paragon in Beagle. I'm just gonna see what happens, you know? Ishmael. Oh my god! Son.
쳐다보기엔 우리는 멋있는 거 안 나가지고.
그쯤 해줬으니 보장자 한번 벗겨야겠군.
양반이 떠올랐어. 쳐다보긴 우리 엄마 멋있는 건 알아가지고. 참으십시오.
Yeah, Ondu's also OP.
나쁘지 않아요.
Why is every assist
대상
better
확인.
than us?
철침탄.
Except for
트랜지션.
like
확산.
Kara. How come
임상
Kara
시험
was one of the worst appointments we got?
군락 개방을 목표로.
낙인을 새겨드리죠.
이거 금강 맞지?
그렇지. 바로 그거다 딸렘.
이번에야말로
Also
이
60.
싸움을 끝내주겠어.
So her offense level is just crazy then. Alright. And Ezra is 75.
거긴 킬존이다.
셋째.
He's on. That was like a 5% chance he could knock this.
그렇지. 바로 그거다 딸렘. 하!
저 자식이 우리 엄마 멋있는 건 알아가지고.
Yes, Kalea.
필연적 절대적 결정 해금 초월 지령에게 불확실한 것은 없네.
양반이 떠올랐어요.
그 슬픈 일이 헉조구려.
이중격발. 여유탄 횟수.
검주먹 모다
그렇지. 바로 그거다 딸렘.
미래를 과거와 같이
엄마만큼은 못하지만 나도 녹이면서 뵐 수 있거든.
I don't mind 10 wasn't that much.
예측할 수 없게
쳐다보고 우리 엄마 멋있는 건 알아가지고.
망설이지 말고. 여기 심장이 전략적인
그대 흔들렸군.
그렇지. 바로 그거다 딸렘.
그대는 어디까지 가고 있을지.
여유탄 횟수.
Easy wins. That should be all of that. Surveying the area with measured bird. Ondu cast a bludgeon missile with a few sharp flicks before sliding it back to its sheath. Huh? They're not changing back. Doesn't appear to be enough distorted points or conveniently this time around. Perhaps a fortune during the Jason got caught up in it, and our job right now is to get to the bottom of the phenomenon. What exactly gets people caught up, and what happens to them once they're in? Of course, you can't really rule out the possibility of a powerful distortion that's encroaching upon its environment. Oh, by that I mean when a distortion bleeds into the space around it and warps it. Oh man, I'm actually talking like our team leader. Rubbed off on me, I guess. As we're continuing the sheepish giggle. In any case, we have built to suppress our or cure the distortion and we whoop these guys' asses 100 times. We need more clues to help us locate the inflection point. Maybe we should examine these people over here too. With a call, Ezra directed our attention to rows of collapsed people all around, all of them climbing over the roads. And these are the glyph emblazoned upon their headbands. Shoe bespeaks propulsion in pursuit of marksmanship. Truckers. Functionaries charged with scoring and hunting runaway goons. You hail from the homeland as we do. I'm unsurprised at the homeland. Afterwards, I failed to know that I, too, was on still origin. Scientists and technicians were daily being dispossessed of their stations in Escort. So it was no idle tale. Scientists who plied their craft without fanning Escort's coffers decided to seize them forthwith and made notice of the operation. Indeed, I count myself fortunate to have absconded from my friends and avoided otherwise. Now the unrestricted appellation conferred upon the people for the convenience of those in power, a vile practice and an excuse for their power mongering, nothing more. The so-called taboo hunters of Escort operate by much the same manner now. Does the breaching of taboos in the hunt, just the hunter first sees his prey, to thereafter forever capture them, and in transmission. If the powerful so desire to chase a man down, to take possession of his very being and keep him caged, then they need only decree that he should bear the thought of a Nobi. Such is what Escort has become today. My mentor, too, is one of the victims of that accursed practice. Ben, these people have been sent out to capture your mentor, or Esau? Or me, perhaps, or none of us. You mean to state that there may be conceptual forms of truth generated by distortion? That is a plausible conjecture. We're getting nowhere with this clue hunting. With a heavy sigh, Otis pressed her fingers against her brows and her head was starting to pound in frustration. To delve further into the matter, it is necessary to determine why the Escort and its genetics this phenomenon. Brick! I can't read! Considering the course of events we have seen so far, would it not stand to reason that the distortion stains all nearby things with memories most foul? The presence of genetics suggests a possible correspondence to Esau's memories. Conversely, however, the absence of T-Corp's time collectors weakens the hypothesis, in which case the most plausible theory is that this particular distortion could have stemmed from Kimmelhunky's memories. Dr. furrowed her brow and fell into thought, as though she couldn't grasp the full breadth of the problem. I've seen a few distortions that show trauma or affect their surroundings, but this one, I'm getting a pop of inspiration. Can't even guess at what this distortion wants. Bob. The light flash of lights only jarred my vision again as Ezra clutched her head and cried out with annoyance. Ah, if only the team leader was here. Cracking, this would have been a piece of cake. And we're back. So this is why he kept asking whether we'd seen anything bursting with a pop. The Encore employees must have it rough too, getting dragged into the distortion like this. I mean, what else were we supposed to do? It was self-defense. They were about to attack us. I suppose finding the root cause and taking care of it would be the fastest way forward. Let's just do what we can for now. Okay, first we need to develop the film we found here. We'll head to the nearest dark room and... actually, let's first strike that slippery hat-wearing cult back here and get him talking about the Chinooks. That's probably our best bet. Every time we take a job, that slacker just slips off without telling anyone. There's one part of me watched Ezra stamp her feet in frustration. I was also carefully following Heathcliff's team through the other part of my vision. Oh, I think I can help with that. Have you located it? Huh? What? Boss Clock found something? Yep, I found where Bamboo Hatted Kim is right now. Right. Now,
확실한 승리였어요.
I
돌아가면 저번처럼 홈파티라도 할까요?
I am likely going to end that here because I've been recording for an hour and 6 minutes, and I'm 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm 4 nodes in. This is gonna take years if I just recorded all of this, and it will take up a lot of storage space. So I am going to leave this as a sort of demo for my next experience. So if you want to see the rest of it, play the game. Play the game. Play it for yourself. There. Done. You saw it. Play it. Play it. Play the game. And if you've already played the Intervallo and are just looking to see people's reactions, then yeah, sorry. I don't like reading that much, so. Okay, no outro, bye.